Help support Friendo Club by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson or clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Access to bonus episodes, question threads for the Going In Raw podcast, and entry to our monthly wrestling predictions challenges. Join the Friendo Club today. Hey Friendo, Steve here.
Hey Larson.
Welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we've got last night's Monday Night Raw on the road to WrestleMania. The Intercontinental Championship match might have gotten a little bit clearer and a little bit murkier.
Or way less clear. I don't know. Steve, what we I think we both really want to talk about, and dare I say need to talk about, is what's
Cody beating up on cops? Yeah.
Yeah. And not just that, his declaration. Well, one of the quote-unquote cops we know is a friend of the show, AJ Kirsch.
I didn't know he was a cop. I thought he was
He's not
an awesome wrestling commentator / personality / host / guy who officiates weddings too, AJ Kirsch.
Yes.
Terrific
That's
guy.
what he is. AJ's great. Playing the role of it was unclear, off duty or just someone that Heyman says, hey,
corrupt. They were supposed to be corrupt cops.
Corrupt cops. Hey, come fly across the country to San Jose, California, and be my personal security while you're on duty, something like that. Anyways, no, AJ's not a cop. AJ is a cool dude.
Yeah, but
yeah, Cody beat up a bunch of corrupt cops.
Cody Rhodes taken down.
I know.
3 pigs, get out of here. Send him packing, Cody.
But then declaring himself Bloodline Hunter. So
yeah, dude. So you and I have had this. We'll just preface it real quick because I did this thumbnail to pop us. So like, okay, what was the first so we've had Jinder Mahal, Rawgate Mutant Hunter.
So in the history of wrestling hunters,
yes.
In terms of, not like, was it Skinner was in character an alligator hunter? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
faction hunters. Yoshitatsu.
Bullet Club hunter.
Right.
There was Frankie Kazarian, elite hunter.
That's right. He was
in our
the
universe.
Hunter. Yeah.
Jinder Mahal, I mean, it was Rawgate Mutant he was hunting, but he was a Rawgate Mutant hunter.
I think sort of informally in that he didn't have a t-shirt, Heath Slater was an Honor No More hunter.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He was.
And so when Cody last night says, the Bloodline's not hunting me, I'm hunting them, immediately you and I thought the exact same thing.
Oh, I texted you. Cody Rhodes, Bloodline Hunter. Yes.
Bloodline Hunter. I really want them to generate a shirt.
Billy Gunn used to be, I think,
yes,
Bullet Club Hunter
he was
too,
the
with
Bullet Club Hunter.
Yoshitatsu.
I think it was like a very, a
loose alliance between various people who felt they were wronged by Bullet Club.
And they're never terribly effective.
No, I mean, like, historically, Frankie Kazarian, this is one example, showed up a couple times, declared himself Elite Hunter, lost every match he had against the Elite.
Yoshitatsu. Dude, I remember the first New Japan show that we went to at the convention or what center,
he was in the opening match, yeah.
Yeah, and at the merch table, so like back then, like, you know, New Japan was super duper hot, right? It was like 2017. And everybody was or 2018, everybody was just clearing the tables of merchandise. There was one shirt left at the merch table, and it was Bullet Club Hunter. Because nobody wanted that shirt.
I might have that shirt somewhere still.
Oh, I didn't know you bought one.
I think someone, either you got it for me or I never paid money for it, but someone got it for me.
I love it. That's great.
I might have it still. I'd be surprised, but I might have it still somewhere. Anyways. So that was the closing segment of Raw last night after Cody defeated Grayson Waller in the main event match. It was... in terms of upping the stakes and drama of the feud, I don't know if it necessarily accomplished much in that regard. It seemed to exist solely for Cody to declare himself Bloodline Hunter.
Yeah.
And then we got to see Paul Heyman's new rock phone. Where he pulls out his Roman Bloodline cased phone and says, call Roman Reigns, pulls out a separate phone with the Rock case on it and says, call The Rock. Paul, they won't be able to hear each other if you're trying to communicate, have a 3-way call. You could do a 3-way call on an iPhone.
Well, here's the thing. And I'm trying to find my Hilton phone right now. But, you know.
You have a separate phone just for Hilton?
I got a phone for you. That's this one right here. I've got a phone for Hilton. I've got a phone for Lacey. Like, that's not normal to have a phone for each one of your contacts?
Factually incorrect, Steve. I know that's not the case.
I'm telling you, dude. I've got the Hilton one is like a little flip phone because there's no service to it because I never really have to get in contact with them. Yours is like is the deep purple phone.
Yeah.
Lacey's, my old iPhone, it's
wow, I get the most up-to-date phone. Wow, thanks.
You do, yeah. Only because it's the purple one and there's such scandal involved with
because
that
you
phone.
want to stick it to me with the purple one, that's why.
Yeah. But no, having two phones, one for Roman, one for Rock, and needed to communicate with both of them at the same time.
Without them talking to each other, though.
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
He's old, so he should sell one of those phones and pay some of the ECW guys that he stiffed back.
There we go. You should go to the kiosk in the mall where it says, "We buy old iPhones."
Or RVD.
Get cash now.
RVD's probably still waiting for that, whatever it was,
$40,000, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the segment as a whole, I thought was kind of meh. Like, at the end, if after Cody beat up all the cops and Solo comes out or Jimmy comes out or something, be like, "Hey, I'm Bloodline Hunter." No, you're not. You're getting laid out by Bloodline now.
Let me ask you this. Was it a matter of presentation? Because, look, the standard trope in pro wrestling these days especially is they will take people who've made some sort of name on the local scene wherever they're touring. Yeah. You and I have known AJ for a while. Yeah. As soon as he showed up, I was taken out of the segment completely. Same. As happy as I am for AJ Kirsch, I know factually he is not NYPD.
Yes.
Nor did he have like a cop mustache. Like, if they had put AJ and the two other gentlemen that were with him, who they look familiar, and I know I've seen them.
Yeah, they do. They did look familiar.
They probably wrestled at our promotion, Action Coast. I don't know, but I'm almost positive the fella to AJ's right has. Anyways, if they were in like riot gear or something more menacing, if there was 10 of them as opposed to 3, you could see as they walked, all 3 of the dudes, as they walked with Paul Heyman, they were both trying to project menacing and at the same time keep that awkward pace with Paul Heyman. Step when he steps. Was it part of the presentation that could have helped if there was like legion of pigs?
That could have helped, maybe. I don't know. It just didn't feel like... It felt like the story could have been enhanced. That story beat could have enhanced with actual Bloodline presence in addition to Heyman. That's what it felt like to me. And if they were there, then they had a huge security detail or something like that.
I wonder if storyline-wise, we might find out, we would find this out on Friday, if Heyman ran this play absent the permission of the tribal chief.
Yeah. Or here's another thing to think about. Sorry to interrupt. But something that I got to thinking about, and I've seen the speculation as well online, when Roman asked Jimmy who ran the play as far as interfering in Jay's match, and Jimmy's like, "Oh, Heyman." The Roman goes, "No, that was me." What if Heyman called it via The Rock, and Roman's taking credit for it because he doesn't want Jimmy to get the idea that, oh, I'm losing power here? And what if the call last night to do something like that was The Rock's call?
I think there's a lot going on because when Jimmy threw Paul under the bus, I almost took that as Jimmy was lying. Jimmy ran the play on his own, threw Paul under the bus, and then Roman took credit for it because it worked.
Yeah,
like, I know you're lying, and now I know you're lying, but we're not going to say anything because I've got the power here. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot at play there, and any of those scenarios could be the right one. We'll find out on Friday if that's the case, but I wonder if the fact there were no Bloodline members and Paul was asking kind of Cody on the side, retract your challenge. Roman's not going to, I don't know that Roman, and especially not Rock, is going to send Paul to weasel out of a fight. Mm-hmm. That seems like a Paul going rogue type move, which is why he would have enlisted, some heavies from the NYPD instead.
Yeah, that's possible. It's entirely possible.
But now, I mean, it did sort of, you got to wonder if now this, because, and part of the reason I say that is because Paul Heyman shows up thinking he's going to he's going to get one mission accomplished, and instead it backfires, and it puts Cody on the offensive. And yes, it was kind of a mess segment. That being said, the story beat was now Cody has a reason not just to show up on SmackDown. He kind of already had a reason, and that's to get The Rock's, response. But now to be there in a, and I love this word, proactive way.
Proactive, not reactionary.
Right, exactly.
Proactive.
He's being active and taking it to the Bloodline, because up until now he's just, with the exception of the press event where he's like, no, hey, I want that spot back. I'm taking that spot back. He's sort of been, mulling over Seth's offer. Well, now he's tired of it, and he's going to take it to the Bloodline.
Proactive. That's
proactive Cody.
Proactive. Let's also talk about, you mentioned the Intercontinental title scene earlier. Either it got clear or it got way messier. I'm not sure which it is. Because at various points in the show, we had, I believe, Chad Gable.
Yeah.
We had potentially Sami Zayn. Mm-hmm. And we had maybe the entirety of the Judgment Day, save for Rhea Ripley, all potentially enter the Intercontinental title scene.
It seems like it's so, like, the way, and I loved the way they framed this. Dominic seems to be the guy that is stepping up to Gunther from the Judgment Day. But then you clearly also have Sami Zayn. Chad Gable, again, Larson, good thing that we're giving out these free ideas, because we saw a completely different Chad Gable last night. Instead of wearing the Alpha Academy outfit, he was wearing a suit. No goofiness, no Otis, no Maxine, no Tozawa, making the case in a very serious, emotional way to Pierce. This matters because it means family to me. Gunther, even though I disagree with Chad Gable's premise, he's laying the blame on making his daughter cry on Gunther. And that's his a motivation for wanting that Intercontinental Championship shot. Do you see this as setting up a number one contender match with a clear winner heading into Mania for a one-on-one match? Or is this going to end up being messy and a multi-man match? And if so, could they add people, or do you think this could be a fatal four-way, a ladder match, something like that?
I guess if I had my preference, I'd prefer the one-on-one bout, because it'd be a situation, say we have a fatal four-way and Chad Gable gets the win but doesn't pin Gunther in the process. Well, yeah, you won the Intercontinental title, but you didn't beat Gunther for it. If it's a situation where somebody has a high likelihood of beating Gunther at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental title, you got to beat him one-on-one. And you got to pin him or make him tap to get that title off. I think any sort of multi-man match where the finish doesn't involve Gunther, I mean, it's good, you're Intercontinental champion now, but you didn't pin the final boss to get it, And sure, maybe that's a situation where they kind of have their cake and eat it too, where they could have the four-way, Sami pins Dom for it. Next pay-per-view at Backlash, we get Sami versus Gunther one-on-one for the Intercontinental title, and that's when Sami gets the win over him. I don't know. But this feels like if you really want to get the momentum of winning the Intercontinental title, you have to beat Gunther for it, not pin somebody else.
The names that are available now, I find it really difficult to believe that Dominic Mysterio would win the Intercontinental Championship. Mm-hmm. It seems like, especially with Gable and Sami Zayn, I know they're not young names like Braun Breaker, but those two guys are 1,000% workhorse guys. Mm-hmm. They could absolutely take that title and run with it as a, continuing the legacy that Gunther has now established, or reestablished, I should say, as the workhorse title. And I think everybody would be really happy about that. I think Zayn's got a great story. Chad Gable has a great story. The presence of Dominic makes me think it'd be maybe a multi-man and he eats the pin. The thing about, so at WrestleMania right now, we're looking at potentially a lot of title changes.
Yes.
I feel like Seth is probably going to lose.
Yeah.
Cody's probably going to win, although I've been waffling back and forth on that. But at this point, I kind of feel like he's going to win.
Rhea's not losing.
Rhea's 1,000% winning. She's keeping that title.
Yeah.
EO, you said this in the pre-show, 50-50.
50-50. I mean, it depends on when Dakota turns on Bailey. If they wait till Mania, it's a good chance EO wins. Yeah.
Right. The tag title's probably going to change hands. You got to get those off Judgment Day at some point, unless Judgment Day goes through with their plan to keep all the titles. In which case, Dom wins Intercontinental Championship. I don't see that happening. I just don't see it happening.
No, I mean it'd be interesting to see Judgment Day at Mania lose everything and an act of desperation to bring some gold back to Judgment Day. Priest tries to cash in.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that is, I don't know. Like, Triple H loves the Golden Prophecy stuff. He loves Judgment Day. It's possible Priest cashes in at Mania and has that title, and Dom has the Intercontinental, and then they've got the tag titles. That's a possibility. You don't think a strong one?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
No, I don't think that's a strong possibility.
They sell a lot of merch that Judgment Day.
Yeah. I mean, also you had Priest getting in Gunther's face too. So I mean, I don't know if you can dispel the idea of Priest.
He stepped aside though. He stepped aside. Well,
Dom
stepped.
He was
aside.
Escorted to step aside.
He did. No, you know what? You're right. At the end, he was trying to fight Gunther. You're absolutely right about that. You're right about that. So yeah, I don't know. It. I guess the fact that we know now that Gunther will have a match at WrestleMania makes it more clear.
Yes, that's the one thing that's more clear for sure.
And the roster has been narrowed down to about 4 potential challengers, including the 2 in Judgment Day that we mentioned, and Gable and Sami Zayn. Exactly what direction they'll actually go. It'll be interesting if they stick both Priest and Dom together in that match. If it's a multi-man match, if it's a ladder match, you could use this match because we also have to remember that in August we've got Bash at Berlin, in which case Gunther is going to feature prominently, probably in the main event.
The old main event, yeah.
The only question is, what is that match going to be? If Drew McIntyre beats Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, Gunther walks into Bash at Berlin as a good guy because it's in near his home territory. I
mean, he's from Austria, but he wrestled the vast majority of his career in Germany in WXW.
WXW, exactly, yeah. So he'll be going into that as the face. I don't, they obviously love Gunther. A ladder match, and I agree with you 1,000%. Somebody's got to beat this guy one-on-one. And there's a long tradition of Intercontinental Champion getting beat legit and then moving up. So that can totally happen.
Yeah.
There's also a bit of a tradition with Intercontinental Championship ladder matches and multi-man matches. And I think the dynamic between Judgment Day could be pretty interesting if Dom's like, hey, I stepped up to him, and Priest is like, so did I. I guess we'll both be in this match, and they got a great little mini story going into that multi-man. That could be really fun.
MHJ is here as an idea. It says Gunther's ego gets the better of him and defends the title in a gauntlet match, which is awesome.
Oh my God.
I don't know if they do that at WrestleMania because that would be a 45-minute match all told if there's 5 competitors or 6 competitors,
Boy, that'd be match of the night.
That'd
be contender for match of the year right there.
Yeah.
Boy,
oh yeah,
that'd be something else with all those names. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that could be really good stuff. If it was up to you, if Triple H called you as he usually does, and gave you the book, what would be your preference? I know you said earlier, but after talking about this, what would be your absolute preference?
My preference is for Gunther to wrestle, I don't know who, but he wins. He walks into Berlin as Intercontinental Champion and challenges, say, Drew McIntyre for that World Heavyweight Championship and wins that and ends Bash at Berlin with 2 belts.
I should have seen that coming.
Yeah.
That'd probably be kind of awesome, to be honest with you.
It would be pretty awesome.
I freaking love Gunther, dude. I love him so
amazing.
Much.
He's so good.
So awesome. Oh, man. What else happened on Raw last night?
When Gunther called JD the guy with the big head? Come on.
And he's got so much history with McDonough, too. Wasn't McDonough, didn't Jordan Devlin, beat him for the...
it was OTT.
Progress? Oh, it was OTT. Yeah, you're right. It was OTT. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, the guy with the big head.
Gosh, that was hilarious. The crowd laughed about that. That was pretty funny.
Oh, that was really good. Yeah,
that was funny. We had a really good street fight between New Day and Imperium.
Surprised at the outcome of this?
I don't know. I mean, the New Day's legacy is established, but that being said, I want to see them do interesting stuff still because they're awesome.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I guess Imperium probably needed a huge win like this on the main roster.
They really did. They really did,
and if they have designs for Imperium as a unit to be featured at the Berlin show in August, then they need to build up Imperium. They need to build up the Kaiser and Vinci. If they're going to say challenge for the tag titles or something there, or be involved in some capacity in a major way. So I guess you start now, 6 months in advance.
Yeah.
Who knows? This is even the blow off. They could do more after this. There's still plenty of room to do more because every interaction these two teams have been great.
It's been so much fun. I will be honest with you. One thing I realized, and I think I've always sort of deep down known this, I'm not a fan of street fights. I appreciate the whole the jeans trope of it because it's just sort of like, I don't know. It's always the same thing. It's always get out a couple tables, people go through tables, get out a couple kendo sticks, get out kendo sticks. It's like deathmatch light. It's like Hangman Swerve was like one of my favorite matches because there's a point to it. They go all the way with it,
Yeah.
There's
Well, you're not
drinking blood.
Kind of period. So
no, you're not. And Street Fight is just sort of a PG version of that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just not a fan. I don't know there's ever a street fight that I've been like, oh my God. Like, I know people point to like Triple H, HBK back in the day street fight.
Well, I mean, like the Gargano Ciampa street fight in NXT was really good. I think it's not so much the at least speaking personally, kind of the deathmatch light approach to it. It's just, how creative are you going to be in terms of working the street fight gimmick into telling the story of the match?
Yeah.
That's really, for me, that's the thing. And if you can tell an interesting story within the confines of WWE street fights, I'm in. I get it. Far too often it's like, oh, you get put through table here and this here happens, But for example, what Sammy Guevara and Powerhouse Hobbs did on Collision in a lot of ways was very much a WWE street fight, and it was wildly entertaining.
Yeah, it was all right because Sammy's crazy though. It wasn't like a normal like Sammy. It's not a normal thing with him, And it was a different matchup too. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's. Well, it's whenever it's street fight. I'm like, I'm not really impressed. Not really impressed.
All right.
Sammy should have been wearing jeans if that was a real street fight. Anyways, it wasn't a real street fight if not wearing jeans.
Yeah, you got.
That's what I love about the New Day. Every time there's that sort of, meta thing or they're
keenly
like
aware of the tropes. Yeah.
They're keenly. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. They love the conventions and they just really dive into them. I think it's great.
They do. Let's talk about Drew McIntyre's promo. Of course, he's really firing on all cylinders. I know there's some rumors going around that he may have signed a new deal, but we're waiting for confirmation from that from other sources before we really start talking about that.
Wait, who reported on that one?
WWE.
What's that?
BWE, Better Wrestling Experience.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotcha.
But, someone tweeted at Sean Ross Sapp whether, he could confirm. And I think he said, if he can, he will. But
okay, gotcha.
Has been able to get. So essentially until Sean says Drew signed a new deal, I'm not going to assume he has.
Yeah.
So anyways, he comes to the ring and, man.
It's awesome.
Throwing all sorts of shade at Punk still.
Oh yeah, he's lining that one up perfectly. That's going to be such a big. Drew is so smart. WWE's so smart for him continuing just to double down and triple down on the CM Punk stuff because that's going to make that return just absolutely huge.
Massive. Like the first line where the doctor tells him after Elimination Chamber that he ruptured his eardrum, and the doctor's like, "I don't know if you're going to make it to WrestleMania," and Drew says, "Who do you think I am, CM Punk?" Stuff like that's going to get him over, though, as a baby face, because it's fun, clever stuff.
Dude, I know. I was telling, because, Lacey loves her some DM hunk, right? And last night I was watching in the living room, and even backstage when it shows him walking, in advance of the segment, she was like, "Oh, he's so handsome," and I was like,
"He's a handsome man,
such a handsome man.
He is an incredibly handsome man."
So I give her the lowdown on what he's been up to lately, and I gave her some of the, especially the I prayed for this to happen, and she thought that was the funniest thing.
Oh, it's great.
But he's like basically there, right? Like he says these things and people boo him, but really he's just so damn entertaining that he's made himself kind of, to use a term that's popular right now in wrestling, undeniable, and you love to see it. It's awesome.
Yeah, and he's even like you see it during this promo where he has that line about Punk, and then later on sits, cross-legged in the ring like Phil does.
Yeah.
And says, I was so happy after winning Chamber, and I know you're straight edge, you don't drink Punk, but I drank enough for both of us.
Yeah.
And he's tickled by that line. He starts laughing, and you hear the crowd laughing along with him.
That's the best when somebody laughs at their own joke. Yeah.
I know. Especially when they're a heel. It's like, oh gosh darn it, I'm so clever. And funny.
Yeah. Seth Rollins is because Drew McIntyre, of course, like one of the great things right now also is that he is a heel who makes excellent points. Seth, back off the bloodline, because if you get in their business, they're going to get in our business. We are going to put on an amazing match, and you know how it's going to end if you continue down this road. The bloodline will interfere and it'll be thrown out. Our match
he said
will
it'll
be ruined.
taint my victory.
Yeah, right. The way he's appealing to Seth, though, is like, let's get on the same page. And so, yes, he can have that win, but don't you want this to be just you versus me?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Seth says some things are bigger. They're worth fighting for.
Yeah.
And he makes this really wonderful, impassioned plea to Drew. We have to cut the bloodline off at the head. We have to get this thing done.
Because he says eventually, they're going to want more power. They're going to come after this title at some point too.
Which is an awesome point as well. The bloodline is going to spill over from SmackDown, and they're going to be all in Raw's business, coming after the title, and we're going to get the same crap that you're talking about right now. And Drew doesn't really, Seth he's got a great punctuating moment where he reiterates some things are worth fighting for. And he leaves, and Drew doesn't really have much of a response. It actually seems like he's kind of understanding at the very least what Seth is saying.
Yeah. 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 And it's interesting that Drew mentions Bloodline tainting his victory over Seth when he just got Bloodline help to win, was a week or two ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen that torp about it.
No, it was last week, and it muddies up the situation, and it's like, man, it giveth and it taketh away. Again, it's just awesome, just wonderfully complex situations that good guys and bad guys alike have to sort of take under consideration. And I do appreciate that the line between, I saw this, and I don't know if you saw it or not, but Al Snow was talking on the Vince Russo show about Rhea Ripley. She had some segment, I think Denise Salcedo was interviewing her, and she was just being real Rhea Ripley. And Al Snow, of course, all the old heads, I don't believe in her as a heel anymore because of this. And I'm like, dude, she's like, that's such an antiquated point of view. Why is it? Because at that point, you're not talking about characters, you're talking about caricatures. You're talking about one-dimensional characters. And I think that we're in an age now where I think we're all sort of grown up enough to know that these are that the best ones are the ones that are complex, that are real human beings.
Yeah, yeah.
And so if Rhea Ripley wants to have some fun talking some shit outside of the ring, understanding that when she comes to work on Monday Night Raw, she is that brutalizer, the destroyer.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Yeah. Like, it humanizes her and makes her more compelling. And these like old men who like have no concept of complexity. It's just, I don't know. No, I see it and I'm like, this is so disappointing. Like,
It is. I know. It's nice to see wrestlers who wrestled 20, 30, sometimes 40 years ago not be stuck in that old way of thinking too. Yeah. You see, I mean, like with Sting's retirement, this is Sting's running AEW. It feels like, it's not like it feels like he wants to be consistent with the times in which he's wrestling in. He's not stuck in his old ways.
Exactly.
He's like, okay, wrestling has changed. I have to change with it to stay relevant.
It's evolved.
And evolve. Yeah, totally. I mean, and if it's the idea that, I didn't see the interview you were talking about with Rhea. Was she dropping out of character? Is that the issue?
Oh, it was a silly segment where Denise was doing like a never have I ever thing. And she asked her about have you ever been on a dating app? And Rhea had a really charming, cute response. She was like, I have, but it wasn't to like look for people. It was just to see who was out there, something like that. And it was a very, I don't know, it was a very real human moment where she was having some fun in a situation.
Yeah.
God forbid
wrestlers show their actual personality outside of the business. It's like wrestling is the only form of entertainment where part of that industry like demands that the character extends beyond like your time of production. You know,
Yeah.
that's not asked of people who are on TV or in films or in plays.
Yeah.
You don't do a press junket for, I don't know,
Dune.
yeah,
And
Dave
Dune?
Bautista's in character. No, he's gonna
Yeah.
be Dave Bautista talking about his experience doing the movie.
Well, I'll be honest with you, dude. I don't need, and I don't think you mean this. I don't need that much of a correlation. I don't need Rhea Ripley talking about, yeah, we laid out the match this way or the other. The character Rhea Ripley that we see on WWE TV can still be that normal person we see doing Never Have I Ever with Denise.
Absolutely.
And it can still be who she is in the ring, what we see on Monday Night Raw, and the two can peacefully coexist.
Yeah.
She can be a human being, and when she comes to work, guess what? It's time to wreck fools. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you turn up the intensity. Yeah, no, I get that totally. Yeah.
It's silly. It's absolute, and it's so old man. You know,
It
it's
is.
so late. And
I
look,
know.
we're old. But I swear to God, dude, if I ever stop understanding that things evolve, I need to be done with it. I need to be done with it, you know?
Yep. No, I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
But yeah, no, Rhea and Becky had a really good in-ring promo.
They did. They kicked off the show.
Yeah, that kicked off the show. And then again, situation where Liv Morgan comes out, has a match with Nia Jax, who had earlier beat up Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch gets her pound, and it ruins Liv Morgan's match, who she was on. She had some momentum. So now that sets up Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch. I guess the original point that I was getting at was when everybody can exist in that area between a face, a good guy and a bad guy. You call it a tweener, call it whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, they're more fleshed out human characters is what they are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the area where you've got some really, really good stuff, because then, you know, it's one of our favorite shows of the past year was Succession.
Yeah.
And in that show, you find yourself rooting for and then being horribly disappointed and dismayed by every single character on that show. And that's exactly what you want, because it takes the audience on a roller coaster of emotions through your story.
Yeah. And nobody on Succession, for example, was anywhere close to one-dimensional of the main characters, you know? Right. Because they would do that. They would have a series of episodes, or at least a story arc, where it's like, oh, okay, they're getting their stuff together. They're starting to do what's probably the right thing.
Yeah.
And then at the end of which, ultimately, they would utterly disappoint you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And seemingly everybody would take their turn going through that storyline. And it'd come back to somebody else, and it was just a constant push and pull of people caught in a situation where they're pulled between doing maybe the right thing and what they think is best for them.
Yeah.
And it's this constant push and pull within them. And that's human, you know. That's and it's good to see in wrestling where we have characters who aren't just one-dimensional bad and one-dimensional good.
Yeah, we've
it
seen
gets
that.
boring.
It's so boring. It gets so boring. It's like you can only act in one specific mindset.
Yeah.
And that's not how people are. Like the best characters are the ones that act and behave you know, like relatable human beings.
Yep.
And with shades of gray. So
yep.
I don't know. I'll get off my soapbox now. I like the ones that beat up on cops.
Yeah.
Like Cody Rhodes. We'll get to him a little bit, but before we get on with our Raw recap, now that we're 34 minutes deep into the show, do us a solid, man. Hit that subscribe button. We're back on a goal, but man, YouTube giveth and taketh away, because we're hovering around. The new hover number is 200,000.
700. I know.
700, because right now we're at 200,699.
But we were as high as 200,710.
It was 717 yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, because we've got a lot coming up. Of course, Wrestlemania is, AEW Revolution is coming up this weekend. We're going to be live for that here at YouTube and over on the Twitch as well. And then, of course, after that, the road to WrestleMania truly begins here at Steven Larson's Going in Raw WWE and AEW podcast. And you got to make sure you're always knowing when we're going live and when we have new videos up here at the channel. So you got to hit subscribe and the notify bell. Also, we've got new videos over at the Friendo Club Wrestling channel. It's our short form content channel. Just yesterday, we uploaded a video where we predicted the card for Backlash.
Yeah.
From Lyon, France.
Yes.
Lyon. Nowhere near Paris. 300 miles away. That's what I learned from the comment section.
All right. 300 miles away.
Somebody in London was like, I'm in London and I'm closer to Paris than Lyon is.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, that's weird, but also makes sense.
Yeah.
So be sure to check out that video. And while you're here watching, throw us a like. It's the one that looks like a thumbs up, not a thumbs down. There you go. Larson's displaying it there on visual for you. And then also, 2 thumbs up. Very good.
Well, don't hit the thumbs up button twice because you'll like it, then unlike it. Don't do that. Hit it an odd number of times.
Yeah. So, and then also, of course, we've got the Friendo Club set up. It's like our fan club here. You don't get a decoder ring, though. You get access to bonus episodes.
If we did that, though.
We should probably look into decoder rings. We really should. That'd be awesome. Yeah. So you get, and we should make Friendo Hunter shirts.
We should.
Over at friendoshop.com. We got merch over there. Friendoshop.com. But no, going back to the Friendo Club setup, we got bonus episodes. A brand new Friendo cast just dropped yesterday. We've got question threads and, of course, access to the Big Blue Predictions Challenge going into AEW Revolution for the second part of the Week of Champions Predictions Challenge. And Cameron Shank looks like he might be on the verge of losing his Big Blue Predictions Championship, but maybe not because there's a lot of matches coming up at Revolution.
There are a lot.
And you can only get access to that by getting the Friendo Club set up. There are 2 ways to get it. Patreon.com/Steven Larson. Choose the Friendo Club setup reward tier. Or go to YouTube.com/Steven Larson and click join. It's $5 either way.
Yep. You mentioned the likes. Right now we're at 134 likes. We got about 566 people watching here. Pardon me. We like to get 50%.
That's
likes.
Nice. That'd be nice.
From our live crowd. We're about, halfway to that goal. Right, about 25% right now. So if you could, please hit that like button.
Please do it.
We greatly appreciate it. We like to be liked, so please like the video.
Anyways, Monday Night Raw began with, let's take a look at Chris Garrick's notes here.
Thank you, Chris.
Highlights of Elimination Chamber. That always happens. But first up, we got Dom in the ring. Everybody's booing him, of course. He intros Rhea Ripley. They pop big. She gives her intro, talks about Elimination Chamber and beating Nia Jax, and of course punctuates that by saying she is in fact Rhea Bloody Ripley. That brings out Becky Lynch. She gives her, I'm not going to do the whole verbatim thing today because we do that and it just sort of ends up being like a table read for Monday Night Raw. So I'm just sort of like bullet point.
Sometimes it's fun when we have roles where you're, I don't know, somebody and I'm the other person. We go back and forth.
Would you like to agree on one scene today to take on roles?
Do you want to do Seth and Drew? Is that the scene today?
Or could it be Cody and Paul? I think Cody Paul probably works best.
All right.
It's the main event segment. Seth talked a lot last night.
He did.
There was a lot of talking there.
He did do a lot of talking.
So anyways, Becky comes out. She says, hey, good on you. You defended successfully at the Chamber. I won the Chamber. Your friends and family were there. Good for them. What a moment. And what's awesome, too, they got to see you win Elimination Chamber, so they don't have to fly to WrestleMania to watch you lose. Then Dom tries to talk. Everybody boos. Becky says, shut up. Calls him a dirty kumquat. And Pat McAfee says, what? So she gives Dom some shit. And then Rhea says, you done? Cool. Don't disrespect my Latino heat again. Again, I love that. You know, she's like, and I like the bringing Dom out there for that. He's kind of her vulnerability, you know, and somebody an easy target for Becky Lynch. And so she puts her foot down, says, don't disrespect him. She says, congratulations. She says, because Becky had said that she's the backbone of the women's division. She says, you say the backbone, that's fine. The man always thinks they're the backbone of everything. But funny thing is, behind every great man is a greater woman. I'm not behind you, though, because mommy is always on top.
That was good.
And then her and Becky talk a little bit of shit. Rhea and Dom leave, but that brings out Nia Jax from the crowd, wipes out Becky, just completely annihilates her. And then Nia taunts Rhea before hitting a second leg drop on Becky, drags her to the corner, goes for the Annihilator, but security refs and Pierce come out and sort of break that up, and Pierce is able to successfully escort her out.
Yes. Good segment. After that, we get some advertising for future matches of the show. You got Cody and Grayson Waller main event, New Day Imperium in a street fight, and Sami Zayn makes his way to the ring for his match against Nakamura. But before we get to that bout, Jackie's interviewing Nia backstage. Nia says Becky won the Chamber. There's no way she should go to Mania. I beat her clean, so I should get her spot essentially. And she says, what you saw to Becky tonight, I'm going to do that to Liv in our match tenfold.
Yeah.
And then we got Sami versus Nakamura.
That's right. Hell of a match again with these guys. You know, they probably have one of my favorite WWE matches of all time back in NXT.
You love their NXT match.
Oh my God, it's so good. Nakamura's debut match. Wow. That introduced me, man, to the wonders of New Japan Professional Wrestling.
I thought you'd seen AJ and Nakamura before Nakamura came to
not
WWE.
Prior to this match.
Oh, all right.
I think this was like because this match was in like 2014. 16. Oh, was it 16?
2016 is when Nakamura came to WWE.
I didn't see AJ versus Nakamura until after Wrestle Kingdom, until 2017.
Oh, all right.
I went back and watched it after the fact.
Gotcha. You still haven't seen Nakamura versus Kota Ibushi at Wrestle Kingdom 9, though, have you?
I have not seen that match.
Phenomenal. No. You should go watch that.
That's what I've heard. I've always heard really good things.
You should go drop what you're doing right now and go watch it. So Sami gets the win here. After a pair of haluva kicks, he hits one to the Nakamura's neck or the back of his head. Hadn't seen that in a while before. And then hits another one to his face to get the win. As you mentioned, a really fun match. No top turnbuckle brainbusters, unfortunately, but otherwise a really fun match.
You know, one day we'll get that again, because didn't we get like one of them?
I don't think Sami did it. Somebody else. Oh, Kyle Fletcher did it in a match.
No. I'm talking about WWE.
I don't think Sami's done it in WWE.
It was like Ilya or something.
Maybe Ilya did it.
But somebody did it in WWE, and I think we always talk about that.
All right. Yeah, Wandering Man of Thirst said Ilya did it.
Ah, okay.
You just see Sami do it.
I remember weird things. I don't remember obvious things, but I remember weird things. Anyways,
it's interesting what kind of gets stuck in our memory and what doesn't.
You know, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, Sami gets the win. Hell of a match right there. Crowd was really into this one. The San Jose crowd really into this one. After that, we had Chelsea Green come down. She's about to face Raquel Rodriguez. We get a 2K24 DLC hype video. Check these names out here. CM Punk, who earlier in the day was advocating on social media to be included in the game.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Was that all part of the marketing plan where it's like, hey, Phil, get on Instagram and say, we need to get the people to get me in the game. And then because the turnaround, the announcement he's in the game was like 4 hours.
No.
It was a pretty quick turnaround.
No way. You think that was a marketing stunt? He was on his social media. He said it himself. He's not a tech guy. No, this wasn't a marketing thing. The people wanted it, and then they delivered it in record time.
Sure, I'm sure that's what happened, Steve.
Oh man, yeah, that was. I loved how corny that was, because I honestly didn't see that coming when he first did that thing. I was like, oh, is he going to do like a community-based thing? Defract, make a CM Punk.
Did you make the best creative wrestler CM Punk you possibly could? Yeah. The official creative wrestler CM Punk of WWE 2K24.
Right, exactly. Hey, let me ask you this. So, like, apparently, and I didn't know you could do this, but you can go in and adjust the ratings for all the characters.
Oh, interesting.
I forget if you were able to do that before or not. I don't know.
Could you copy them on a custom spot and then do it?
Maybe. I don't know. You know, anyways, you and I, we've been playing these games forever. We don't know anything.
I actually haven't played one of them in a couple of years. So
right. So, what would you adjust the following characters to be?
Sure. Overall rating, you mean?
Yeah.
All right.
Cody's 93. What would you adjust him to?
especially after what we saw last night, 98.
It was gonna be a 96, but then he beats up on some pigs, and he's a 98. An easy one for you. He's a 90 right now. What do you adjust Gunther?
100. Come on. 110.
Okay,
yeah.
Good. Logan Paul's a 90 right now. What do you adjust him to?
93.
That high?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He poured himself pretty well as a upper mid card wrestler. Absolutely.
Rhea Ripley, I believe, is a 96.
100.
Yeah, agreed. Roman Reigns, a tribal chief. I don't know if his has been released yet.
It's probably a 99, and I think keep him at a 99. Actually, I would actually lower Roman slightly because he hasn't won a match on his own in a very long time.
He hasn't won a clean match in a very long time.
Well, like 96.
Okay, 96. Okay. Maxine Dupree. She's, I think, a 74.
No, 74? She wasn't that high.
64.
She was a
64? She's 64, yeah. 64.
They released someone else's rating that was super low too. I can't remember who it was. Was it Candice LeRae or Indy? I think it was Indy Hartwell.
Yeah.
It was in the low 60s too.
To be fair, she didn't win a lot.
No, I know.
Didn't win a lot.
Neither does Maxine.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Let me ask you this: create a character, Khan Noonien Singh.
Well, I mean, as his henchman said, his is superior. He would have to be in the high 90s, I would think.
Well, okay, wow. Like a 98?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he does fall victim to what? Two-dimensional thinking.
That's correct. That is right.
So his ring presence score would not be that high. Like in terms of the physical attributes off the charts, but up here,
yeah,
not as good.
Star Trek 3's Krug.
Probably low 90s, maybe.
Star Trek 5 Cybok.
Ooh, not good.
Like a Maxine Dupree, like a 64?
Mid-60s probably, yeah. Yeah, mid-60s probably.
All right. Fair enough. Let's move on. Chelsea Green's got a mic. She drops a fun promo.
Oh, so Post Malone is not in the actual release. He's in DLC later on, so he can't be our special guest ref all the time, Steve.
The fellow that made us in the last game? Tattoo something. The guy who made us in the last game is apparently a huge Post Malone fan.
Oh, really?
And he made a killer Post Malone.
Oh.
Shoot, where's his name?
I think I saw that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So he made a good one.
Okay, so we don't have to worry about having Post Malone as guest ref and
Tatboy Grimm.
Yeah.
That's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's gonna be the special guest ref for all of our content.
Unless Hilton's involved, and then Hilton could be special guest ref.
Right. Yeah, we need to see if Tatboy Grimm can make like a killer dead on,
like it's Uncanny Valley Hilton.
Like just the most Hilton. Yeah. The most Hilton possible.
Exactly.
Oh,
not just like in terms of looking like Hilton, but capturing the essence that is Hilton.
Right, exactly. Yeah. This has got to be like that time in Next Generation where they made like a Moriarty from Sherlock Holmes and the dude became sentient.
Yeah.
This Hilton needs to be like more sentient than real Hilton, which admittedly is not very. Anyways, Chelsea comes out, talks shit about the San Jose Sharks and Raquel Rodriguez. That brings out Raquel Rodriguez. She wipes the floor with Chelsea Green.
Oh, yeah.
I love Chelsea Green, though. She's great. And shout out to Raquel Rodriguez for, being really open about, the health condition that she was going through in Australia. Heart goes out to her. But that's really awesome to be that open about stuff and maybe inspire some people.
Yeah. Definitely.
After that, Jackie's backstage with Sami. Do you want to do this one?
Sure. So Jackie's with Sami. Yeah, he says to say I needed this. Talk about his win over Nakamura is an understatement. I've bottled up a lot. Even today, I was trying to keep my cool. A loss tonight, I couldn't tell you what it would have done to not only my path to Mania, but me in general. What it would do to my psyche about if I am really a contender, a championship-worthy contender. I don't need to worry about it because that win reaffirmed that belief that I am a contender. My path to Mania will come my way. If it doesn't, I will go out and I will find it. So then Ludwig walks up with Vinci, and they kind of scoff at him and walk away. And then Gunther walks up and looks him up and down. and just laughs at him.
Yeah.
Laughs at him and leaves.
Laughs at him. Yeah. This is a good question here in our Twitch chat from Dang MQ. Says, what would AJ Hawk's rating be?
He just sits there. Smoking a cigar.
Yeah. With the most bizarre camera too. Because he looks like, you know what he looks like? He looks like a Paint My Life.
He does.
Like the thing behind you. The
original one we had was this, but it was in front of a library.
I did a thing with the library, yeah.
Yeah, and that's AJ Hawk's background, isn't it?
It's a library, yeah.
Yeah.
But like he looks like he's enmeshed in the library. There's no depth there with the camera. Yeah, there's no depth there. It's the weirdest thing. He's like a Max Headroom type guy.
Seems that way.
Except Max Headroom would talk a lot.
Yeah, not AJ Hawk.
No.
So then Kathy Kelly's backstage interviewing Cody, talking about his challenge to The Rock. And Cody says, I don't know if it's strategic, but it's simple. He slapped me in the face. I offered to fight him one-on-one, and I await his rebuttal this Friday on SmackDown. So she starts talking about his match tonight against Grayson Waller. And he says, let me ask you, do you like Grayson Waller? You don't need to answer. I've watched him. He has tons of skill. He has no reason not to like me, though. First time on his show, I brought Jey Uso back. Then in front of 52,000 people in his home country, I challenged The Rock one-on-one, and tonight he gets his first Raw main event, and he gets to find out.
So after that, we've got Imperium. Gunther grabs a mic, and
you got to do this one, Steve, so you can do your Gunther, because it's got pretty solid.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to break the rule that I established earlier, but
I give you permission to do so, to do Gunther.
Appreciated, sir. After successfully defeating Jey Uso last week, I'm still standing here, your greatest and longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. But I gotta be honest, it was very close. Jey almost had me beat. It actually felt slipping away from me for the very first time as champion. Let's be honest, I got lucky. Nobody's perfect, but I'm very, very close.
Hold on. No, I said do it as long as you do Gunther voice. You're not doing Gunther voice.
Oh man, it's all over the map right now. I don't know why. I couldn't keep it going. I slipped into Stone Cold Steve Austin. He said, okay, I'll try to get back on track with Gunther.
Thank you.
Before my men Kaiser and Gio outclass the New Day later on, I want to address my future. You need to understand, over 600 days, I put my heart, soul, and body. Let's get ready to suck it.
I'm sorry.
You're not even trying at this point. This
He's
is going to be a 2-hour show at this rate. Come on.
He's asking people. Who's going to be my opponent at WrestleMania? He says, I don't live under rock. I see what you think should happen. I don't know what that means. And then he says, Sami Zayn, Chad Gable. Oh, he's saying he hears you guys.
Yeah.
The Miz, he says it gets worse. I even see people requesting our truth. What was the deal with the Miz getting locked in a room last night?
I don't know. Apparently got locked in a room. They had to cut a hole at the bottom of the door. You had to crawl out.
Oh, I didn't see that part. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
What rating would you give that door?
Well, I mean, the door is seemingly impenetrable for the most part.
Pretty high rating, right?
It's not 100, but it's at least mid-90s.
Mid-90s for sure, yeah.
He says, like, what score would you give Trapped in a Room Miz?
Low. You can't get out of a room. Who doesn't know how to work a door?
So, yeah, either it's locked from the inside or outside. Either way, there's a path, you'd think, for someone to open it.
It's like a nightmare situation. It's like a Saw type situation.
I guess so. Now, if it's a thing where, like, literally the door handle got locked and then got jammed up somehow, you call a locksmith.
Like, you got 3 pigs in the building. Why don't they do the thing where the cops do and they
get the ram out?
They get the ram out on the wrong person's door. Anyway,
maybe that's why the Miz was stuck in there so long.
That could be, yeah, because they got it wrong again.
Yeah.
So then Gunther says it gets worse. I even see people requesting our truth. That's ridiculous. Truth got a huge pop, by the way.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the stupidest idea in the world. And I know, hey, I'm the dude advocating against a comedy guy getting the Intercontinental Championship. That'd be kind of awesome if our truth did that shit, though.
It'd be fantastic if it were our truth.
That'd be kind of great.
So, Alter Bridge hits. We get some Judgment Day.
If you believe yours is the
only way. So then Priest says, Gunther, we don't sweat you. You've had a dominant run, second only the run we're on. I hope you were watching this weekend because we ran the table plan doing the same at Mania, except we plan on adding more gold at Mania, and that includes yours. And Gunther says, obviously you're not cashing in right now, so who's it going to be? Finn? The one with the big head over here? Talking about JD? Who? You tell me. And so Dom steps up, and Gunther just laughs at him. And Dom says, Gunther, when Dirty Dom and Judgment Day say we're going to do something, we mean it. That means that title, it belongs to us. And so Gunther just kind of like barely pushes Dom, and Priest loses it. He starts going after Gunther. He has to be held back. And eventually they pull him apart and they escort Priest out of the ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that segment. I thought that was really good.
It was. So later on, we were backstage.
Let me ask this real quick. Sorry. Let me ask this real quick. Priest seems at this point like he fits so perfectly in an Intercontinental Championship scene.
I know.
And he's wildly out of league in the world titles.
He's out of his depth in the main event, yes.
Yeah, but like him there with Gunther, I'm like, this actually makes a lot of sense right here.
I know, but you can't have 2 consecutive Money in the Bank briefcase holders try to cash in on the mid-card title. You don't.
July is coming up quick. It's 5 months away. I don't know. I don't know how to reconcile that. It's like he won Money in the Bank a year too early.
Yeah.
But like 2025 or 2024 would have been perfect.
Maybe if he had the journey of being tag champion contending for the Intercontinental title, maybe. I know.
Yeah.
I know. But you can't do it again. I don't feel like at least he could do that.
I don't know what they're gonna do with that. I really don't.
I know. So we get the New Day. They're backstage getting ready for their match against Imperium. Before that, we're backstage, Judgment Day, and Rhea's looking at Dom and just says, Gunther?
Yeah.
Of all people?
Oh yeah.
Gunther?
Yeah.
And he just says, Mommy, I got this. And so Rhea leaves, exasperated with Dom. Mm-hmm. And Finn says to him, Dom, you gotta go smooth that over. And he's like, all right. So he goes the complete opposite direction that Rhea was walking. So he could bump into Andrade.
El Idolo.
He's like, hey, Andrade, how's it going? Long time no see.
Yeah.
And Andrade's like, yeah, doing swell. I'm back here. I'm not that other place.
None of those other guys.
And, he's like, hey, I'm about to go talk to Adam Pearce about who my first match is going to be against. I'll see you later.
Yeah, meaning you're going to be my first match.
Yep, it's going to be Dom.
Dude, Andrade.
Andrade was standing there backstage like, all right, the first person I bumped into, that's my first match.
Yeah, exactly. It's like my career. No, okay, so let me ask you this. Because they do this stuff now.
Yeah.
Dom stepped up to Gunther. Dom runs into Andrade. Andrade mixes it up with Judgment Day. Andrade gets into the match with Gunther in the multi-man. If they do a 6-man ladder match, tell me Andrade wouldn't be perfect for that.
Oh, Andrade would be great. Yeah.
Woo.
Keep waiting for him to be put in a high-profile situation now that he's back in WWE. Been waiting like a month for that to happen.
Should be directly in that Intercontinental scene.
You would think so. Here's the thing. I want to see Andrade and Gunther one-on-one because I think that'd be awesome.
Dude, that's the thing about Gunther at WrestleMania. I hope he doesn't lose because there's so many other matches out there for him at that like upper mid-card scene, and Andrade's a great AJ Styles, another guy. I want to see AJ Styles Gunther one-on-one.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen that.
Not in WWE, I don't think we have. No.
I don't think so.
So.
Boy, my goodness, that'd be good.
That'd be good. Speaking of good, I know Steve is kind of tired of street fights, but this is really fun. New Day versus Imperium. Street fight went all over the arena. And yeah, the outcome may be somewhat surprising, but Imperium really needed a huge win, and they got one here. A lot of tables involved. That spot where Woods drops the elbow through the table. The camera work on that was really good.
It was, yeah.
So that was pretty cool. They're back in the ring. New Day hit a backbreaker, top rope stomp on Vinci. Kaiser pulls the ref out of the ring as they're counting the pinfall. And then Kofi hits Kaiser with a suicide dive with a kendo stick out in front of him.
Yeah, that was cool.
Right
that was a neat spot. I like that.
So then they're looking for a midnight hour. New Day is on on Kaiser, but then Vinci pushes Kofi out the top through a table. And then hits him, I think, hits Woods with a piece of table in the face. Kaiser throws Woods into a chair that's been set up in the corner and then rolls him up to get the win.
Yeah.
It's a good win for Imperium.
It was good stuff. It was
a fun match.
Imperium.
I was super into it, too.
Imperium needed that win, man.
Yeah, they did.
They need a big win, Real quick here, we got some super chats that I want to catch up on. Poke here says Bloodline Hunter Cody is pro ACAB. Yeah, he is. Mickey G with a super chat says, can your upcoming film, of course, the Stephen Larson untitled short feature length film, says, can your upcoming film be a mix of wrestling and Star Trek? Captain Kirk Angle versus the Spock special guest enforcer Man Khan. This is terrible. It's all bad. Hard no.
If we do
But there
something
should
like
be
that, though, we might be able to get some like a Shawn Michaels level celebrity to be in it. Because of course Shawn Michaels did the Avengers spoof type movie.
Yeah. And the like you trying to use AI to mix Star Trek and wrestling, could come up with some crazy results.
That's what I'm telling you.
All right, we'll see.
Kyle here says, "Don't know if you knew, but the thumbnail is the same as yesterday's. When I checked earlier, it was fine. So maybe sometimes things just don't update like they should."
So it was fine on my end, but then I re-uploaded it just in case after I saw this super chat. And Kyle, I appreciate you spending $5 to let us know the thumbnail was wrong. But hopefully that's all been fixed now. Kyle, thank you so much for this.
Yes,
Kyle's been here for a while, so I appreciate it.
Fazzy Wazzy, been a member for 49 months. How is that possible?
I didn't even think we'd been at this for 49 months.
Yeah, I know. And so Fazzy says 49 months for a new podcast. I think I figured out time travel. Happy Tuesday, friendos.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fazzy Wazzy. Much appreciated.
Good.
It's Friendo Club setup Fazzy Wazzy has there.
That's awesome. It's a Friendo Club setup that Fazzy has, and that gets us closer to the Tribal Chief setup. And then DB Toys here with the super chat says Sami is for sure after Gunther at Mania for Intercontinental Champion.
Could be.
We shall see. A couple different people also in the mix there. So anyways, Imperium gets the win here. After that, we had a Grayson Waller hype video. Says, I know Gunther is looking for his opponent. Everybody's giving your reasons as to why they should fight him. I come tonight with my reasons, and I'm not just here as a competitor, but as a father. Oh, sorry. That's not Grayson Waller. This is Chad Gable. I skipped
Chad Gable talking to Adam Pearce.
So we had a Grayson Waller hype video, and then Pearce is on the phone with Bronson Reed as Chad Gable walks in. Says, I know Gunther is looking for his opponent. Everybody's giving you their reasons as to why. He says, I come to unite with my reasons, and I'm not here just as a competitor, but as a Faja. He says, last time I fought him, I was this close, but that's not what haunts me. He reduced my daughter to tears.
No, Chad Gable, you lost. That's what made your daughter cry.
I know, exactly. That's what Pierce should have said. He's like, listen, Chad, this was Gunther. You had no business bringing your daughter to a Gunther match. Your fault. You're a bad Faja. Anyways, Gable says, I need to make it right. My reasons are honest. To anyone else, this is about a title. To me, this just means more. And then Pierce says, I see that. You've given me more to think about. The fact that Pierce is on the phone with Bronson Reed at the time also indicates that maybe he's going to be in this ladder match that I've just made up. Yeah,
you just made up. You booked. Then we got Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark taking on Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae.
Yep, Indus, Candy and Indus, baby.
Candy and Indus, and Candy and Indus lose again. Shayna chokes out, Indy with a Karafuda clutch. And looks like they're positioning Shayna and Zoe to maybe challenge Asuka and Kairi for those tag titles at some point.
This is the point where I mention once again that Zoe Stark is fucking awesome in the ring, man.
Yeah, she is. She's great.
Like that, whatever that thing she did with Candice. It was like a suplex, but like she flipped a weird way. I don't know. It was weird. It was awesome. I loved it.
Innovative.
Then
R-Truth is in Judgment Day's clubhouse. So DIY, we are. And The Miz, who got out of that room by crawling through a hole they put in it, walks in. And Truth is there reminiscing about days as member of Judgment Day. Says, oh, they're not here anymore. So Ciampa says, I have a plan. Are you ready?
And
Truth says, what? And Ciampa says, I said, are you ready? And Truth says, oh, I see. You're trying to regenerate something. Regeneration X. That's what's up. And Miz is like, no, it's the generation. You know what? Never mind. That is what's up. And it's awesome. So, yes, I want to see Regeneration X t-shirts, please.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that t-shirt.
Get the 5 of them with the Regeneration X, 4 of them. Sorry, Regeneration X t-shirts. That'd be great.
I'd be kind of cool if this faction right here became like the new, like, Taguchi Japan.
Yeah.
I'd be cool with that. Like kind of a comedy act, but they're also really, like, the two of them anyways are really good wrestlers.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun as a faction, not gonna lie.
That would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
This first positive thing you've ever said about Taguchi Japan.
Yeah, probably. I really didn't like them at all. Wasn't Tanahashi in Taguchi Japan?
Was who?
Tanahashi.
Yeah. Ricochet was too.
Oh, yeah. Bad deal. Anyways, Drew McIntyre comes out. He's awesome. He says, you don't achieve success alone. Thank you for everyone putting their hands together and praying for this. He says, me versus Seth for the world title at Mania. He says, I'll be honest, so I feel like hell. I'm more jet lagged than man. I was first in the chamber and the last one out, and I got hurt. I got hit in the ear and burst my eardrum. I was talking with the doctor and said, you're hurt. You may not make WrestleMania. I said, who do you think I am, CM Punk? Nothing stopped me from making Mania. And then he sits down in the pipe bomb style. And he says, don't show up my kilt, you perv. Talking to the cameraman. He says, Punk, I know it hurt you not to be in the chamber, and it really hurt you to miss WrestleMania, but I thought of you after the match and wanted to do something special for you. I know you're straight edge. You don't drink. On the way home, I drank double the amount for both of us to celebrate. He says, but more serious business. I got to talk to you if you'll indulge me, champ. Mr. Rollins comes on down. So that brings out Seth Rollins.
That brings out Seth. So he does his usual thing. Welcome to Monday Night Rollins. He says, congratulations are in order for Drew. You did it. You have your opportunity. Something you've been wanting since 2020 to win the World Heavyweight Championship in front of a capacity crowd at Mania. But there's one thing standing in your way, and that's me, Seth freaking Rollins.
That's right. And Drew says, you're right. You're standing in my way. Beating you is no easy job. Beating me is no easy job. So why are you making this hard on yourself? All this bloodline stuff you're involved in, stop it. You don't need it in your life. I talked about your injuries because I want you 100%. I can't understand why you're going over to SmackDown to fight other battles when we need you here on Raw. That's their business. I don't care if SmackDown's on fire. When I'm champion, I wouldn't pee on them to put them out. My responsibility is Raw and that title only. There's one thing to think about. You know where this is going. We know the outcome. It's happened to me personally. We'll put on a killer match. People love it. They'll come down to the ring, screw you out of your title, and taint my victory. For my sake, for your sake, back off.
So Seth responds, I respect everything you said. Respectfully, some risks are worth taking. He says, sorry. He says, I hear what you said. I thought about all that already. That's why I'm the architect, the visionary. The truth is, Drew, you might be right. My knee might not be ready. My back may give out. Bloodline may leave me broken, and WrestleMania may be an easy night for you. You might be right, but what if you're wrong? Like I said, some risks are worth taking. I've been selfish in my career, in my life, and I thought the goal would fill the void, but every time I got there, I felt empty. It wasn't until I had my daughter that I realized not everything is about me. There are larger things in me. The world title is larger than us. Eliminating the bloodline, larger than us. So if we don't take care of them before Mania, what happens if you take the title from me? Regardless of who's the champ, they want power. It's just a matter of time before they come for this belt. So Seth continues, you may be right, you may be wrong. But if I am 100%, rip the bloodline apart, secure the future of this industry, if we can do that, then at WrestleMania, Drew, it's you, it's me, it's the World Heavyweight title. I told you before, Crown Jewel, and I'll tell you again, may the best man win. Some risks are worth taking. And Drew really didn't have a response.
Well, let me ask you this. Given that he seemed to be sort of, digesting what Seth Rollins said. You got Cody, you got Seth. Is there any chance to protect his own interests? Drew forms a bit of an alliance heading into WrestleMania with the can they coexist that actually makes sense? Because he understands that he's protecting the match.
Drew, Seth, and Cody say against Roman, Rock, and Solo?
I don't even necessarily know that it would be a proper match, although I thought about that as well. That's a possibility. But what if you've got Cody and Seth taking on Rock and Roman. Rock and Roman have Jimmy and Solo. Yeah. That they're going to get involved in some way. What if Drew is the equalizer to that? And you get Drew, who's sort of on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
Because that WrestleMania main event is wrapping up Seth as well. That's a way to get Drew involved so he doesn't look like just the bystander on the outside.
Could be. Something to think about.
Yeah.
Next up, Nia Jax taking on Watch Me, Liv Morgan. We talked about this at the beginning, just when it seemed like Liv was getting some momentum. Becky appears. Well, actually, Nia just hits. She puts Liv into the ring post with the Samoa drop. So I guess Nia had already put an end to Liv's momentum. Becky appears and attacks Nia. slams her head into the announce table a bunch, and then forearms her out of the ring, and Nia walks up the ramp. And then Becky's talking crap, and Liv's just sitting there on the mat, just mad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mad.
Yeah. Kathy is backstage with Theory and Waller. Waller says, once again, I get the biggest scoop in WWE. It was great for me, great for Australia, but they had to go attack my boy Theory. He said, I did everything I could to help him. And Theory rolled his eyes and was like, the fuck?
Yeah.
He said, but tonight we flip the script. I disrespect Cody in his house. Then the bloodline can pick the bones. Then that boy can never finish his story.
Before we get that match, we got Becky backstage with, oh, wait. There was the Ole Anderson thing.
I saw a clip today on Twitter. You know, it's a shame WWE doesn't get this candid anymore, but there was a Legends Roundtable where Teddy Long and Tony Atlas just talked about what a fucking racist Ole Anderson was. Anyways, he passed away. Becky was backstage with Pierce, sets up a match next week with Nia, as Liv walks up and says, I was in the middle of something out there. Not everything has to be about you. I was just telling Lacey, too, about how Liv Morgan is, having a difficult time finding that character, you know?
Yeah.
She has a lot of fans, and I truly believe she puts in a lot of work, but, finding that character, and so often her promos come off as kind of cry-ish, you know? And then she, as soon as I say that, she drops into this segment with Becky and does that.
Not everything is about you.
Not everything's about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so then we get a Jey Uso interview. Jackie is doing the interview. He says, Jackie, I'm going to keep on being me, keep on doing me. Talk about losing to Gunther last week. Keep on being main event Jey Uso. Last week, I was this close to have my first Intercontinental title. When I got close, I came up short. I try to do something positive, I fall short, whether it be past enemies or my own family members. So Drew walks up. This was great. Says, I know what you're going through. I know this is a tough time. You're riding high, and I feel like we can have this talk. I want you to know from the bottom of my heart, you deserve this. And so Jay throws a punch at him. They start trading some shots, and security breaks it up.
Yeah. Drew just goes around trolling everybody. It's kind of amazing.
Good.
Yeah. So then we have our main event, Cody Rhodes versus Grayson Waller.
Yep.
Cody Rhodes wrapped this up pretty quickly.
Yeah, the match ended with 8 minutes left in the show. What the hell are they going to do for the rest of the show?
Well,
because during the match they said Heyman's in the building.
They made a big deal about it. Oh my God, Heyman's in the building. And so I was like, oh, no, this is not going to go 20 minutes. He's going to wrap this up. And yeah, sure enough, there was 8 minutes left in the show. Crossroads got the job done. Theory tried to interfere, but none of that actually worked.
Yeah.
And then
Cody wins, and you hear a disembodied voice say, "Ladies and gentlemen."
Right. Who would you like to portray in our table read of this segment, Larson?
You do a good Heyman. You could be Paul.
Fair enough. I hope you represent Cody well. I mean, you get to be Cody as he beats up on some pigs, so.
I'll do my best.
Ladies and gentlemen, it figures you boo ladies in San Jose, California. You're ruining my shtick. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I...
Oh, sorry. I was reading chat. I don't care what your name is. If this is a setup, come and get me.
Everyone calm down. This isn't a setup. The only member of the bloodline here is me, Paul Heyman. Do you see a drop of Polynesian blood anywhere in this lineup? Because he's got AJ Kirsch and 2 jabronis with him. Rhetorical? No, they're not jabronis. They're wonderful local talents.
Local talents, yes.
And I swear I've seen them before, and one of them might have been an Action Coach. I don't know. Anyways, I'm sure I'll get a text from Magnum today.
Yeah,
letting us know. Anyways, it says rhetorical question. The answer is no. These gentlemen are my friends from the NYPD. So apparently they flew all the way from New York to San Jose. But anyways,
yeah.
They're off.
Maybe NYPD has an office in San Jose, like they apparently have one. Somewhere overseas?
Oh, is that true? I guess that's not terribly. They're probably America's largest
police force. Yeah,
police force.
Well,
I was thinking worldwide. Do you think they might be the?
Oh, I don't know.
Name a city that's bigger that might have a bigger police force than.
I mean, there's several cities that are larger than New York City.
Yeah, sure. But like,
But I don't know if those cities of that size have the police presence that NYPD has.
That's
in New
the
York.
thing. Like,
I don't know.
We spend a stupid amount of money on police here in the United States.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, so where were we? Okay. They're off-duty officers. Well, technically, they're all suspended, but I digress. I schlepped out here to let you know no one is asking for an apology. I understand how insulting it must be to get Will Smith to cross the face. You need to take The Rock's name out of your friggin' mouth. My tribal chief has authorized me to let you know if you back away, you just don't come out here and say you want to match with The Rock, unless you're The Rock and you want to match with Roman Reigns, but you screwed that up, didn't you? Understanding you're the main event against Roman Reigns, I beg with you, please, Cody, please, pretty please, with a cherry on top, please withdraw this challenge to The Rock or else.
Or else what, Mr. Heyman? You want to know why I haven't rained holy terror on the mic about your new boy, Dwayne? You want to know why I don't trash him? Myself, like everyone else here, we're fans. Put yourself in my shoes. Every meal was determined by tickets sold. In his family, he says, no one sold more than The Rock, but I'm done being nice. I'm sick of it. This is a setup. Come and get me.
I have a better idea. And the cops get on the apron, and he asks permission to Cody to come in the ring. He says, may I?
No, you may not. Sorry.
So the cops do get in the ring. Line.
Okay, let me make it clear. If one more person takes a step towards me, I'm dropping everybody standing in this ring.
Heyman says, I respect that, but it doesn't apply if I'm that one person who comes close to you, right? And then he says,
wrong! And so Cody starts unloading on the NYPD off-duty suspended police officers, him with the chair, Crossroads, and then Heyman's on the floor. He gets one phone, call Roman Reigns. Gets the other phone, call The Rock. Yeah. And Cody yells, call him. Bloodline isn't hunting me. I'm hunting the Bloodline.
I'm Bloodline Hunter.
And so Heyman's got two phones up like he's holding two cards.
Yeah.
And Cody's in the ring blasting into the NYPD suspended police officers.
Okay, I'm looking this up because Ryan Kroon here in YouTube chat suggests Interpol.
Well, that's not like a...
You're right. But let's see here. Interpol. Okay, so this, according to this on Facebook, Interpol is the world's largest police organization. It serves as a powerful bulletin board that governments and law enforcement agencies use to team up. But yeah, you're right. That's not a local.
That's not for
a
city. That's not a municipal police force. No.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the United States. That's obvious. NYPD, biggest city police department in the world.
5 largest police departments in the world.
5 largest. Well,
according to this, it's NYPD.
There you go. Not surprising. New York is huge, and they spend way too much money.
I think that's the thing in terms of because
they spend a lot of money.
The second here is London, and then third Tokyo. But Tokyo is the largest city in the world, I believe.
Is that what is it? Okay.
I believe in terms of population, I think.
Okay. Anyways, would you like to answer some questions?
Let's answer some questions. So, Tokyo is the largest city in the world. Population of 13. Municipal area, metropolitan area, 37 million. Third largest police force in the world.
Okay, wait a second. I'm sorry. Go back. Tokyo's got 37 million people?
Yeah, in the metropolitan area.
Oh, my God. What does New York have?
Let's get to that. It's the 11th largest city in the world, and the municipal area has, there's 2 different numbers here, 19 or 23 million.
And it's the 11th largest city in the world?
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised it's not in the top 5, but then I'm not
You got Tokyo, you got Delhi, Shanghai, Sao Paulo, Mexico City, Cairo.
I know Mumbai. Mexico City's huge, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Beijing, Dhaka, Bangladesh, and Osaka, Japan. Those are the top 10.
Okay, all right. Wow, interesting. Wait, where's London on the list?
Oh, I already closed that tab. Now I have to.
Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Here, go ahead. I'll find it.
All right, going to answer some questions here. DJ Fluffy says, besides mist magic, what other forms of matter would you like to see wrestlers interfere with? Obviously, transporter technology.
Oh, yeah.
Or are we just speaking of magic?
I was thinking eye lasers. According to this, London is only the 37th largest city with 14 million people in the metropolitan area.
Wow.
I would have thought it'd be much larger than that.
Okay, interesting. Did you think London was larger than New York City?
Maybe.
Yeah, I didn't really know, to be honest with you.
London is, Interesting. Oh, maybe we sort by metropolitan area. Maybe it's different. This is sorted by population.
DJE says everything is in New York City proper. The suburbs are Connecticut and Jersey.
Yeah.
It's got state
Well, that's what they account for the metropolitan area. So that's like anything. Like Sacramento metropolitan area, I think extends all the way down to like Stockton.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. Good question here from Cheeseman. Says, if you could be a hunter like Bloodline or Elite Hunter, what would it be?
Bloodline or Elite Hunter? So a hunter of some sort. I'd be...
Well, if you could be a hunter of some sort, not either of those...
No, I know. I'm just repeating the question in my head. Long boy chicken sandwich hunter.
Oh, wow. Look, here's the thing. We're on the YouTube, as cordial as we generally are with our, with other friendly YouTube wrestling channels. Wrestle Talk Hunter. I've been embedded there once before years ago for an episode.
Sleeper agent.
I'm actively trying to headhunt Luke Owen to, be on this show with me, as a two-man group, but I'm not,
Wait,
I'm not
group?
opposed.
No, what are you talking about?
I'm not opposed. Well, it'd be me and him. And then, we'd figure
What happened to me?
We'd figure you out. You know this.
No, I don't know this. I have just as much ownership stake in this enterprise as you.
Yeah.
And seemingly, I have no say.
That wouldn't change.
Now, if it's a situation where you guys did all the work and I got the same amount of money, fine.
Right. Or like 10 times less, and then we do, the work. Because he's going to need something. He's going to need something. We'd have to basically
take it out of your cut.
You have to split your cut with him.
No, you split it with your cut. You want him so bad. Take him out of your cut. I still make half, and you guys split the remainder.
Listen, Wrestle Talk Hunter. That'll be my thing.
Fine.
We'll figure out the details later.
Very well.
Mr. Dope said he's gonna have a podcast with you, so you and Mr. Dope can go do your thing.
That sounds good. I'm cool with that.
Right
on. Blake here says, is there a better story to be told if Sami Zayn does not make it on the WrestleMania card?
I had thought about that. Maybe.
You
know what they should do?
To not being on the card.
Remember they did like the SmackDown WrestleMania?
Mm-hmm.
That was terrible.
It was a terrible idea. He wins the Andre Battle Royal on the SmackDown Mania.
They should do some sort of like losers card. Like
the consolation card. You're saying?
Losers bracket. Right. Not Mania. Yeah, like not WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I don't know what it'd be called.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Like the NIT, the not in tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be good. Let's see here. Jesse Helsius has a good question. I got called for jury duty. What's the best way to get out of it? He said he suggests tell the judge I only acknowledge my tribal chief Roman Reigns and just stand there with his ones up.
I mean, Steve, we both got out of it. And the way I got out of it, it was, I think, a drunk driving case. And they asked...
You showed up drunk.
And I was like, hey, I drove over here. I'm not supposed to. And they asked, does anybody feel strongly about drunk driving? I'm like, yeah, I do.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, like, you shouldn't do it. And so the defense is like that. You're gone.
I was brutally honest when they were asking the jury questions. I didn't say anything that I didn't believe. There was one question where they said, do you trust the word of a cop over non-cops? And everybody in the jury box said, yeah, they trust a cop more. And I said, I don't. I said, I know for a fact that they lie. And I don't think they're to be trusted over anybody else. Because the whole thing was like there was somebody accused of like beating up an old person in a hardware shop, and a cop saw it, or I don't know what the situation was.
Yeah.
And then there was another question. I forgot what it was, but I said, and again, I believe this. I said, I believe the defense attorney will lie or say anything he can to win, and I believe the prosecution will lie and do anything they can to win. And that's just the God's honest truth.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to lunch, and I came back, and they're like, "You can go now."
Yeah.
You know, I didn't. You know, some people say, "Oh, stand up and say you're racist." There's no need to do that.
No.
Nobody on the, people, they just. It was the weirdest thing being in the jury box in the juror box, whatever it's called. Because I noticed that it seemed like the other people there that were summoned for jury duty, they wanted, bizarrely, the validation of the people asking the questions.
Yeah, yeah.
And
yeah, I noticed that too.
One of the questions was, have you ever been lied to and didn't know that you were being lied to? And people, they all thought that they knew that that it never happened to them. And I was like, I've been lied to plenty, and I didn't know I was being lied to. That's the point of being lied to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was the weirdest. It was the weirdest social experiment I've ever been a part of. It really is,
because you expect a question like, hey, do you feel strongly about drunk driving? Like if you have a normal conversation, if you poll, any place, 100 people, I'm guessing 90 of them are going to say, yeah, that you shouldn't be doing that.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You go in the jury pool, and everybody's like, oh no, I feel like I'm pretty objective and unbiased about all these things. Like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
It's not a factual answer you're answering there.
Yeah, and it's kind of clear they went. And here the funny thing was, because it was, I got called, like it was like within months of us getting laid off.
Yeah,
and like. On one hand, I had kind of the time to do it, but on the other hand, like Lacey was working, I was at home with Bama. You and I were trying to figure out
what to do,
what we were going to do. But there was a part of me that was like, I'm kind of interested in participating in this process. I wouldn't necessarily be opposed if it was a short-term deal.
Totally.
Right, but they didn't want any, because I wasn't willing to bullshit to do it, It's like, you want my answer, this is my answer.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Yeah. There you go. Luis asks, are we going to review the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards? It's kind of past due at this point.
Yeah, I thought that it would have been a decent video last week when it happened, but there was too much going on, and we had the pay-per-view coming up, so probably not at this point. Let's see here. We've already talked about that a little bit. Oh, great question. John and Alistair voice. He's always got great questions. John. Says, similar to how Andrade's old theme has El Ídolo, La Sombra, Dien.
Oh, yeah.
What would be shouted out in your theme song?
It'd be fun wrestling. Not going to happen. Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah. Let's see here. Samuel Raja says, do you think they'll do the Waller versus Theory feud at Mania, or are they going to hold off on that?
They should do it at Mania. If they're going to start an hour early to jam more matches on the card, sure.
I think we've only got like 6 weeks till Mania. Not a lot of time to get to that.
6 weeks is plenty of time.
All right. Hot shot it. I say, if it was up to me, I would wait on it.
All right, very well.
Like Mania, maybe Mania would be like the kickoff. Like there'd be some big humiliating moment at Mania that causes a rift between the two of them.
That could be. That could be.
Let's see here. Bro Ceratop says, who would you like to see break out of depth guy obscurity? Shinsuke Nakamura, please.
I mean, he's a legend in the world of pro wrestling. I don't know if I'd consider him depth guy obscurity.
Well, I don't know about obscurity, but he's a depth guy.
Depth guy, but not depth guy obscurity.
Well, I think the general nature of the question is, who that is a depth guy would you like to see break out of the depth guy? Purgatory might be a better descriptor for that.
Yeah.
Because you've got, of course, Shinsuke, you've got Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
Bronson Reed, I think, to a degree, is a depth guy.
Yeah, I'd say Bronson Reed.
You think so?
He beat Okada.
There you go.
Yeah.
He beat Okada.
I
liked your idea of if everything aligned, Okada comes in and there's a faction of guys who've beaten Okada.
Yeah.
Him,
Jay White, it's Nakamura as Bronson
Jay
Reed.
White, maybe
AJ Styles.
Yeah. That's good. The Okada Hunters.
Yeah, there you go. Got the name.
Yeah. Nast Plays here in the Twitch chat. We'll end on this one. Says, who are some people working as agents/producers backstage you'd like to see become on-air manager types? He says Robert Roode comes to mind for me.
Oh yeah, Bob Roode as a manager would be great.
That'd be cool, I guess. I'd like to see him back in the ring though, in a prominent position.
I know. So Fightful has finally spoken on the matter.
Oh,
as far as Drew's contract. Nothing different. Hasn't changed. Status hasn't changed.
All right, that's going to do it for the show today. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow in person. I've got a new addition to the thing. I got a thing for the TV set back here, man.
Oh, you did? You got it working?
I got it working, yeah.
Nice.
Went to my parents' house, and I got a coaxial cable last night, or 2 days ago. That's going to do it.
Can't wait.
Oh, so exciting. Going to have our logo on a TV screen. Until next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.